Hello, welcome to Toffee TV. It is my three things from Everton 1, Luton Town 2. Everton are out of the FA Cup at the hands of Luton. A disappointing afternoon at Goodison Park. Another one, really. Our home form is awful. It's been awful since Sean Dyche's come in. It's been awful before Sean Dyche's come in. It's been a problem for a few years. The manager needs, I keep saying it, the manager needs to solve this issue. He really does. Too many teams come to Goodison and go away with a victory, and that needs to stop. Yeah, we were terrible. I think I said before, it was one of the worst games of football in terms of quality I've seen for a long years, I would say. Both teams were awful today. They really were poor. The quality of them, there's supposed to be two teams at the top tier in English football playing at that, and they couldn't pass a ball 5 yards, either of them. The odd player on both teams. Well, I thought Barkley was very good for them. Us, we had moments, Onana had moments when he looked good. Other times he give the ball away. It was just a scruffy game, and there was 3 scruffy goals in it. So it just summed it up. Everton, Luton hung on in there, went for it, got the winner, got their their rewards, and good luck to them going forward in the FA Cup. We're out, so good luck to them. The first thing I want to speak about today is players not really taking their opportunities when they get in. I'm talking about the likes of Beto, who a lot of people have called for, me included, to be given a run instead of Dominic Calvert-Lewin at the moment. I don't think Dom isn't looking sharp. He's not pulling up any trees. It's another game without a goal today. Doesn't look like he's going to score at the moment. He's not putting himself about enough. So I'm thinking Beto needs to be given a go. And I guess I probably wouldn't change. If Everton go back to one striker, I'd probably still stick with that for now, just to try to refresh Dom, to try to break that cycle and bring him on as a sub. But Beto's come in today and not done anything that would have made me, if I was picking the team, go, he deserves to come in. He's sharp. What I would say is we don't give him the right service. He's a player that wants balls in behind. He's not, don't get me wrong, he's not exactly lightning, and Luton dealt with some of those very well today. He's a player who's definitely missing someone like Abdoulaye Doucouré off him. And Dominic Calvert-Lewin will as well at the moment. Let's put that into play as well. So that's, that is an issue. Doucouré is someone who gets goals. He's also a runner. He can get round and pick the bits up, and he breaks into the box. Everton simply don't have players who break into the penalty area. And I just think Beto today, wrestling with people. Don't get me wrong, he was fouled. I think he was the most foul player in the match. But sometimes it was like he wanted to have the wrestling match instead of moving towards the ball. When he gets these chances, he's played he's played the full game, hasn't he? 95 minutes as it was, second half, or 100 minutes if you include the first half today. So he's got that under his belt, which will do him good. But his touch has got to be better. He's got to protect the ball better. He's got to lay it off quicker. You want them to take those opportunities. Similar can be said for Nathan Patterson. I had high hopes for Patterson when we bought him. We've not had, we've had Seamus for so long, and he is kind of moving towards the end now, isn't he? Ashley Young has come in and played a lot this season, when I think the hope was that he was going to be a squad player, but he's become an automatic choice at right and left back at times. And therefore, when Patterson's had this opportunity to get in and have a run, you want him to grab it, but he looks like he's caught between the devil and the deep blue sea when he's out there. He doesn't know whether to stick or bust. He doesn't know whether to bomb on like he does for Scotland and like he did for Rangers, or does he just sit? And therefore you don't get either version of him. When he sits, he's not a great defender. He's a good athlete, but he's not a great defender. He doesn't close the player down on the first touch. He doesn't get blocks in enough. He does do it, but not enough. I mean, you look at like a really good defender. And going forward, he seems to put the brakes on instead of getting in behind. If you look at the best attacking fullbacks, they get in behind or they put balls in early and they're constantly on the ball. He's always safe. And I think that's come from the management team. Play safe, play safe. And therefore, I think it's taken a bit away from what his game was and what I hoped his game was going to be. But just as a general rule of thumb, and I'm going to use Arnott Danjuma as well, but he's going to be my second point in a minute, but he's another one. These players have got in, you have to grasp it, you have to make it so the manager thinks, I can't leave this player out. And I don't think any of them have done that. I think once Ashley Young is fit and ready, or Seamus Coleman, Nathan Patterson will be back out the side. I think Beto will be back out the side anyway on Tuesday when Everton go to Fulham. So it's frustrating because they're players who you're hoping can get in and make a difference, can get in and cement the place. But if they're not doing it, they're not going to start. A second person second thing I want to talk about is Arnott Danjuma, and today is a huge indicator, I think, of the breakdown between him and the manager, quite clearly, because Sean Dyche can come out and call him Arnie and say he's working hard and he's unlucky. These are the games he should have been playing in. He should be given the opportunity to put Jack Harrison and Dwight McNeil under pressure. Now, he's either not doing it in training, and therefore fair play to the manager, he doesn't deserve a start then, or the manager just doesn't like him, as a player, I don't mean as a person, as a player. But today, the likes of today, is an opportunity to see what he's got. Now, I still believe there's a chance Danjuma will be gone when the deadline shuts on Wednesday night. And Everton absolutely have to have a replacement for him. And hopefully, if they can, it's someone who will play more of a role than what he has, because he's done nothing, has he? When he's got in, it's difficult to criticise Sean Dyche or the coaching staff, because when he's got in, he's never really performed. Come on today and ended up being on the pitch for 20 minutes. He had one run and a shot which got blocked. That was it. A couple of flicks. It's not enough, and he's been like that in games when he started, and he hasn't started enough games, and he could turn around and say I wasn't given a fair crack at the whip at Everton, and a lot of that's true. Someone might say, well, why weren't you given a fair crack at the whip? Were you doing everything you could to force your way into that team? I don't know what the answer to that would be, but he certainly hasn't pulled up any trees, and if he does go before the deadline shuts, will anybody really be that bothered that he's left? What Everton absolutely have to do is, if they are thinking of replacing him, and it seems that way, because why would he not start an FA Cup tie? João Virginia's coming from nowhere to start FA Cup games. Jordan Pickford plays every week. Jordan Pickford will be in goal at Fulham. It's not like the manager will go, I've got a decision to make at Fulham, will he? It'll be Jordan Pickford. So why is Arnott Danjuma not starting in an FA Cup home game against Luton at Goodison? Why is he not giving Dwight McNeil a rest or Jack Harrison a rest? And that's what you have to ask yourself. And if Everton do decide to let Danjuma go, then, like I said before, they have to get someone who's going to make a contribution, who can start games, who can maybe play off a striker or is a winger. I want the two positions, in all honesty. I want someone who can play midfield or a bit higher up, and I want a winger as well who's quick and direct. I might be wishful thinking, but there you go. What can you say with that? And third and foremost, final point is Everton have to get our players back quickly. This is going to be a slog now till the end of the season. Without both cups, there's nothing to look forward to on that front. We're not going to win anything. It's another trophyless season for Everton, but it's one that cannot now unravel and put us in trouble. We are in trouble. Luton have got a game in hand. If they win that game in hand, we're in the bottom three. We've got an appeal coming up in the next few weeks. We quite simply have to win that appeal and get points back, because we're right in it. We're right in it. We need the points to come back. We need the takeover to be a decision made on that one way or the other. But we need to also have a healthy squad, because it is going to be a slog now. We've got one game a week. We've got 17 games, I think, left. And we have got to make sure we win games of football. And the club has to all be unified. The club has to be pulling in the same direction. Just right now, it feels like we are just going nowhere. That today we were at home to Luton in an FA Cup game. 4th round, chance to get into the last 16. Goodison should have been bouncing, really. and it was quiet. It was quiet. And when we scored, it went noisy, and that's what it really should have been like throughout. But people, I don't blame anyone. People are tired. People have been beaten down. Premier League nonsense. Richard Masters trying to do us nonsense. Not making the decision on the takeover, nonsense. Having no money to bring players in, nonsense. It's all becoming difficult. 2 years relegation battles on the run. Oh, and we're in another one because of the league. Whereas the reality is we'd have 27 points. We'd be clear of relegation. We'd only need 3 or 4 wins out the last 17 games and we'd be more than safe. And it changes the complexion again. But because of the Premier League, and because we're having to go into a courtroom and, well, for want of a better word, and battle it out, we find ourselves in such a difficult position. We're going to have to find form quickly. We've got 3 games that, let's be honest, we could easily lose the next 3 league games. Fulham away, Spurs at home, City away. Everton could easily lose those things. I'm not saying we will. And sometimes Everton turn results up when you look at 3 fixtures and go, we'll get beaten all of them. Sometimes Everton come through them unbeaten, which would be great. But we have to keep chipping away and putting points on the board. Every game would feel totally different if we had the 10 points. Now, I'm not saying we'll get 10 points back because that's highly unlikely, but that every game would feel so different, wouldn't it? If we had the 27 points, and we haven't got them, and we've earned them, but we haven't got them. So it is going to be a bit of a slog. We are going to have to stick together, but we also need our players fit and healthy, because we've seen what happens when the squad is stretched. We have got a small squad because we've had to cut our cloth accordingly. All of the results are there for the PSR stuff. The lies that have been peddled by journalists that Everton have failed PSR because they've bought players. It's a line that the Premier League have fed, it seems, to these client journalists. This is what it seems like. Because the facts are out there. The facts are out there that Everton are far from in trouble because of player trading and spending. You look, Everton have got a third bottom in the net spend. 17 other clubs, PSR for net spend is way above ours. Everton have had a positive PSR for 5 years running, or 4 years. The last 3 years for reporting periods, Everton have spent nothing. Profit is up. One of the best run if you were looking at player trade. The reality of that, and everything else that surrounds that, of course, is that your squad gets decimated and the quality is just dragged right down. And that's why we're having to witness some of the displays we're seeing now. The quality has been stripped from this squad. This club is a totally different football club than it was 3 years ago, with Carlo Ancelotti in charge. And the players we had, James Rodriguez's of the world, Richarlison, people like this, it's just being decimated. And we have to have a brighter future, and just right now it doesn't feel like that, but we're entering a critical time now, and we absolutely have to try to stick together, and we need our players healthy, and we need the Premier League to make a decision on this takeover. Is it happening? Isn't it happening? Make a decision. Stop leaving us in limbo. There you go. Now I have to press you all. I'm going. Give the video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't. Thanks for watching. See you later.